Good aura to all. The stars for February the 11th, 2021. This will be the first Aquarian New Moon after the so-called Great Conjunction. Let's see what the stars have in store for us. First, we go back to the solar eclipse of February 5th, 1962, when all planets were positioned in Aquarius. For more on this, please see my previous video. As I've mentioned before, the cycle of the moon is in respect to the sun at all times 19 years. What we see here is February 4th. This is due to leap years, of course. Again, a solar eclipse, 19 years later than 1962 in 1981. Something I suspected already, something I vaguely remembered, was another conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn in an air sign. Never mind, social media is funny in that way, that things are getting hyped up when it is simply the dance of the planetary cycles. We see here a conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn in Libra. Then 19 years moving on, we have another solar eclipse. Same placement, same degree. Solar eclipses are always at new moons. This was in 2000. So then we go another 19 years further and we get 2019. No solar eclipse, but we do have the new moon at 15 degrees of Aquarius. So that's the 19-year cycle of the sun in respect to the moon. Eclipses, they are determined how close the moon nodes are to the sun and moon. The northern and the southern nodes, or dragon head and dragon tail, or if you fancy the Indian names, they are Rahu and Ketu. And I think they are the same as Giri and Freki, the wolves of Odin, who always companioned Odin. So yeah, these two. Aquarius, a Saturnian-ruled sign, pouring its non-stop divine inspiration to let the potential spirituality blossoming for all of humanity. A recap of my previous video, when the moon is in the 7th house. If you have not watched it, I recommend you do. Here we have the square Mars-Jupiter. I looked for a more easy aspect. It would come up in April. April 19th, 2021, we have a trine when the moon is in the 7th house. We could take the 18th as well, but the moon is then 2 degrees in Cancer. Sun and Mercury are at the last degrees of Aries, and Saturn and Jupiter are too far apart to give it any significance. Do remember that the moon, and so do all planets, move through the 7th house every day. There are 24 hours, there are 12 houses, there's 2 hours for one house. Aquarius, one of the 4 fixed signs. The other 3 are Taurus, Leo and Scorpio. Another name for Scorpio is Eagle, but that's another story. So remember that the atom or the full zodiac, the 1st house is the principal male side and the 7th the principal female point. So in the Aquarian age, the principal male side is all humanitarian and the female side is the opposing of that sign and thus is Leo. And this brings us to my favorite Egyptian goddess, the lioness Sekhmet. Yes, that's my thought on this, and it inspires me a lot as a woman that we enter a time or an eon whereby men have respect again for the strength of this feminine quality. Coming out of the Piscean age, where the female was the underdog figure of the Virgo, banned barefoot to the kitchen as a figure of speech. Okay, let's accept the great conjunction of 20 December 2020 as this starting of the Aquarian age, we had the moon in the 7th house, while Jupiter was aligned with Mars, the sun at that moment on the 0 degrees of this great conjunction, reminding me of the song Let the Sun Shine In. See my previous video. So then now we have the first Aquarian new moon after this great conjunction. So what is this showing us for the coming month? We see all planets except Mars in Aquarius. Mars is squaring them all by sign. Mercury is retrograde. Retrogradations are an optical illusion that a planet would go backwards. What is happening during a retrogradation is that in fact this planet comes closer to Earth. You will find more information on this on my website starconnections.nl under basic astrology, if you would like to know some more about this. So Mercury is retrograde and makes a separating square with Mars. This is a feisty, distorted communication. The Sun and Moon conjunct, new moon of course, in terms of Mars. Again, this can be a time of mental violence. A new bunch of trolls might come out of the depths of Soros' place of hell. It is going to be hard for many people to accept and letting go of the deceitful past. Saturn is in its own rulership and in term of Mercury. It can be cold, calculated, but fair, and as a father figure, constructive with exceptional new ideas. Jupiter and Venus are conjunct in terms of Venus. On the edge of entering terms of Jupiter, we have then Jupiter in terms of Venus and Venus in terms of Jupiter. Expanding love in the widest sense of the word. Expanding unconditional love will soften the hardness of this Mars squaring the stellium. The stellium is a term for more than 3 planets together and is in Taurus, the sign ruled by Venus. My advice: when you get attacked mentally with words, go to your heart and spread your love. Our planet, with all its beautiful life, is in need of all of our love. And this is our strength. Peace, everyone. Much love.